Here we go. Hi, this is Dave Cotter. We're just going through a project in Gilbert, which is 3380 South Power Road. This is a development project that's about 15 acres, a little bit over 15 acres, with 20 buildings, smaller space that's industrial flex space that will be developed, is currently entitled, ready to pull permits, ready to break ground to build a $30+ million development project, construction project for smaller investors or owner occupants, I should say, come in to lease the space. And so we're going to just give an overview of the project, maybe a little bit of background on it, and then we're also going to go through just the market, some of the things that you could expect to ask about, rental rates and what's the demand for this? Is there demand for it? So that you can have your questions answered. And so I'll just start off introducing Dale. Dale Cavan with Cavan Commercial is the actual owner and developer of the project. And then we also have Leroy Breinholt and David Bean with Commercial Properties, Inc., a local brokerage firm here in town, very well known and very well respected. Specifically, Leroy and his team are experts as it pertains to industrial and especially in East Valley. And so they'll be giving us some of their insights and their perspectives as to the market. And so, guys, thanks for coming on.
Mm-hmm.
And Dale, maybe just a real quick snapshot. You can just give a quick background as to how you came in the site and just anything else you'd like to add to it.
Sure. Well, how we came upon the site is we have a relationship with the Morrison family. And so that's how we were able to obtain that location. It's Power and Elliott, right along that high-tech corridor. So we're right there where everything is happening with Apple and all the other large players that are coming in right now. Our product, it's right at Power and Elliott, and it's made up of small buildings, 12,000 feet. So our tenant spaces will be 12,000 feet, which could also be broken into half, which is two 6,000 square foot spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And who we're targeting as our users of that are contractors, fire sprinkler, electricians, mechanical, and then service providers, and then a lot of other companies after that. But it's typically people that have a work truck or van with equipment that want to lock their trucks up at night, because each of our spaces have their own private yard, outside yard, which is what is lacking in the market. It can't be found out there. And I'll let Leroy and David talk about the actual market, but there's a tremendous amount of demand. We think there's about 2 million square feet needed in just the East Valley. This is our second of 4 projects. And so all 4 combined, which are all within just over a couple mile radius, we'll have a little over 500,000 square feet. So we're about a quarter of the way there for what Elliott Pollock and some professionals think is getting close to satisfying the demand as of a few years ago. So it's a product type that's really lacking, but there's a huge demand for it. So
that's terrific. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So is it safe to assume, Dale, you own the site and you're about fairly close to pulling permits? Is that a safe assumption?
We own the site as of last year, and we are about to start construction. We have a lead on a lot of import that's really good import, so we don't want to miss that. So they're going to start bringing that in at the end of this month, and then we're going to continue. We're not going to stop. We're going to continue with our grading.
Great.
We have Grand Canyon title. who is preparing all of our, they're managing the broken priority and all the indemnifications so that clean title is issued once the lender is put in place. So,
Right.
so we've got our permits and we're starting. So.
Right. And it's a fixed price contract. And then do you know what would you say is the total budget at this point in totality?
The total budget's approximately 30 million. Don't have it from, I think it's 32 million maybe. Value of the property at the end of the day will be 50 to 55.
Okay.
Once it's all leased up and we go out to the market, might be higher than that, but yeah, we have a contract that's executed with Chase Builders, a great contractor, and it's a guaranteed price. So if they have any savings, they keep it. If they have any overages, they spend the money on it. But we know exactly what our number is, and everything is bought out. We've already ordered our trusses, which is the only long lead item we have. Because we're smaller product, we don't have some of the steel issues that other people have. But there is a 10-month delay, so we've already ordered the trusses. So we're already on our way.
That's great. Well, thank you for that. Leroy, I'm going to shift over to you and David just for a minute. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in the East Valley, just your take on this specific project, why you think this makes sense, and then we'll kind of dive in from there.
You bet. I'll start out by saying, first of all, kudos to Dale, because there have been a lot of buyers that have tried to get the Morrison family to sell this piece of property. I would call it a AAA location along Power Road right there, now, close to Gateway, Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. And Morrisons have done one of the largest residential development. It spans over 3 miles of that Elliott and Guadalupe corridor. Dave, you're probably familiar with them and the projects they've done, and they're very difficult to get them to sell. So kudos to Dale for being able to get them to sell, because nobody else has been able to. A little bit about us. Commercial Property's been around for 40 years. I've been with the company myself for about 35 years. Have a team. The team in totality is 10 people, 7 agents and 3 full-time staff that work just for our team. We consummate about 800 transactions a year, which I think is more than any other brokerage firm in Phoenix does as an entire firm. Our firm does about 1,600. And out of that, we're close to half the transactions that occur. So we do a lot of these small to medium-sized deals. We also do larger deals. We sell some larger projects. We do some larger leasing also, but our mainstay and what we think we're the best at are these 1,000 to 20 and 30,000 square foot users. That in the market is what we do best. We have a large preponderance of that in the East Valley, Tempe, Mesa, Chandler, Gilbert, and Queen Creek. And we have been trying to get developers for multiple years to build this product because it does not exist. A lot of these users come to us, plumbers, electricians, subcontractors of every type you can think of, pest control companies, flooring and home decor type people. And they all want places to put their trucks and their vehicles and their trailers. So they have nowhere to put them. And the multi-tenant buildings will not allow them to do that outside. And besides that, if they did, they'd probably have some vandalism in the world today. So Dale has been one of the very few to this point, frankly, the only one at this point, and there's maybe one other one that's going to build some small incubator space, but there's really virtually nobody that's built this product in the past. And we know for a fact there's a demand. The pricing is obviously higher than the current product that exists. But if you look at it, the difference is there's no comparison. The existing product is, most of it's 20 to 35 years old. There is no yard. There is minimal parking, very low clear height, very small door sizes of 10 by 10, in some cases 10 by 12. We have 14-foot doors here. And so I have to be careful not to sound too giddy and too excited, but we are excited to have a landlord and developer that understands that the market needs this product. It's funny. I was talking to David here and part of the team earlier today, and if you look at the lease rates, these lease rates are definitely higher on this new product because it's completely different product than the old product that's out there. But the difference in a rent for a 6,000-foot building is less than the cost of one employee. So we are absolutely confident that there are enough of these contractors, and not just contractors, suppliers, distributors, people that cater to even the Intels of the world that are doing a massive, new fab right now, that need this product in the market. And they were so excited that we were confident it will lease, no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's
And when
great. Go ahead.
when you're comparing rental rates from 6,000 square feet in a building that Dale's building versus 6,000 square feet that's out there on the market today, the biggest difference is you don't have the yard space.
Hmm.
So if you take some value off of the building, put it on what the yard would rent for if someone just went out to find a yard space, your rental rate's fairly comparable to what everything else that's out there in the marketplace.
And the door size, David. A lot of these buildings have 10-foot doors. You can't get certain size equipment in those doors.
So rental rate wise, yes, the face rate may sound a little bit high. I think that at the end of the day, we're going to blow those numbers out of the water with significantly higher rental rates.
But we're trying to be conservative.
What do you think those rental rates are going to be? And then how did you come to that conclusion, essentially?
There's not going to be any good comps out there in the market to compare this type of product to, just because purely it doesn't exist.
Okay.
If you take a look at what's being built and what's been delivered out there in that Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport and surrounding areas, you're going to see rental rates in that $1.20 to $1.50 triple net. There's some comps out in Queen Creek that are significantly inferior product, 30-foot spacing between buildings, 1.5 per thousand parking that are leasing for $1.60 a square foot gross.
Okay.
So that's every bit of $1.30, $1.35 net.
Okay.
So when you look at this with the yard, with the location, with where it is, I live in the Morrison community. My house is less than a mile away from this project. I took my kids on a bike ride literally around where we're going to be building here the other day. But I believe in this product in this area because there's just a significant lack of it. I think that we'll probably start leasing space in the $1.35 net range, and then I think we'll end up $1.50 or north of that.
Got it.
And Dave, let me mention one more thing too. There's a lot of product that's slated to be built in that area out there, okay?
Okay.
Some of that product I don't believe will be built because of construction costs today, but a lot of it will be built, but it is larger, they're larger spaces. Some of those buildings will tout they can divide down to 20,000 square feet. And in a lot of cases, they really can't, they really won't. And so this is just something that's under the radar screen of everything else that's being proposed out there, and is going to have virtually no competition.
You look in the submarket, and there's probably 6 to 7 million square feet of industrial product that's slated, like Leroy's saying, to be built out in the submarket. But you're talking about one project that's 1.2 million square feet that just leased to a single user. You're talking about several 150 to 200,000 square foot buildings that divide in half or in thirds, but next to nothing that's going to be in this size range in this area.
Got it. Okay. That's great. Now, and so is the plan to, when do you guys plan on pre-leasing? When do you see that kind of happening?
Well, we won't begin leasing until we're probably 50% done with construction.
Okay.
I mean, people know about it, so they contact Leroy and David and, try to negotiate leases, but, we're not going to release everything for several months. And they're smaller spaces, so the build outs aren't extensive. They're pretty generic. They're industrial users. So what's important to them is what's in the back of the house and then the yard. The office usually has a handful of people, and it's cubicles and, a kitchen and a couple offices and a conference. So that's what we're building. If they wish to have more people up front than that, that's what's typical. If they wish to have more, they can do that afterwards, but we're going to build out the traditional generic space, and we feel there's far more demand than what we're providing, so we'll lease all that up.
Okay.
And we don't have to go and do elaborate build outs. We just don't think it's necessary, and it's costly to do. So, and when
The
you get
design that
these
we've
smaller,
come-
when you get these smaller buildings, they cost more than bigger buildings do. You just have so much more perimeter linear feet, and you've got, you got 40 spaces or 20 spaces, and you got 40 roll-up doors in this project. Whereas
You have more
could build,
land,
you
everything.
could build 1 million square feet and have 20 roll-up doors. So it's just expensive product to build, but the demand is so great that these guys will get the rental rates needed to make it pencil.
Well,
Also-
and Dave, I think you know us well enough after all these years that we don't blow smoke. We don't do pie in the sky. Even if there's not a good comp per se, we're very confident before we have somebody like Dale move forward that we know what we're doing and we're trying to be ahead of the market, so to speak. And we've done over 10,000, actually, frankly, over 11,000 transactions as a team in the last 35 years.
Yeah.
So I think you have a pretty good idea, I think,
Yep.
as to what we do, and we just don't blow smoke.
You guys are the go-to for this, absolutely 100%. Is it safe to assume, so when you come up with, because they're going to say, okay, great, you build it, you start lease it. How did you come to the price of the 50 million? Is that based on a cap rate that you're using, or is it a price per foot, or both, or what? Walk me through that a little bit.
It's based on a cap rate, and if you talk to the investment guys around town right now that are doing the deals, and Leroy's group has done several of them, industrial properties right now are, we're in a window that's very unique, but they're getting anywhere between a 3 and a 4.5 cap rate. We penciled this at a 5 cap, and for brand new space in this location. With the smaller users, which the smaller the user you go, the more there are. Just the reality of it. We're penciling a 5 cap. We think that's extremely conservative, but it works for us. So the market can change substantially, and we'll still be okay. We anticipate the market just getting stronger over the next 2 to 3 years, but it's a conservative approach. So
great. Land acquisition, permits are pulled, starting construction, fixed price contract, huge demand in this market, in the sub-market specifically, and just the market as a whole. The rental rates are probably in the $1.25, could go up to $1.50 triple net. Seems very reasonable and achievable. You'll start pre-leasing somewhere in the 50% completion range to get this thing leased up fairly fast. I'm assuming you'll probably get it leased up prior to it being done, or pretty close, is my assumption. And then once it's stabilized, turn around, put it on the market as a for sale investment product for the exit. Does that all seem accurate?
that's all very accurate. We have projected in the numbers I've given you 12-month lease up period starting with the end of construction. We think that by the time we get to the end of construction, we'll be at least 50% leased, if not fully leased.
Agreed.
We have our very first, this is project number 2. The first one is under construction a couple miles away, south of this. And we're about 50% done with construction. We just came out with the leasing program a couple days ago, last Friday.
Yeah.
So a few days ago. I think the group is working on some leases already.
Cool.
And they brought in an offer to buy it at our price without any leasing. We just received that today. So there's demand. I mean, people love this product when they see it because it just makes sense. So
Yeah, and Dale, how long have you been developing in town now?
25 years.
Yeah, 25 years. So lot of history, a lot of background in development. So this isn't your first rodeo at all. And then obviously you have an excellent developer plus the premier brokerage team, Leroy's team in the East Valley. So all those combination makes for an excellent, risk averse project in terms of construction and loan and development. And so this is really helpful, gentlemen. I really appreciate you guys taking the time and look forward to moving forward with you guys on the project. So thanks for coming in, and we will definitely be in touch with you soon.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. Have a great day,
Thanks,
man.
guys.
Thank you, Dale.